Immediately turn left.
I'm in the middle of York, one of my favourite cities. In fact, I would say my favourite city in the world, following satellite navigation. I'm going to go and see a lovely lady. I've spoken to her on the phone and by email, and I'm going to pick up about 140 film stills. You know, Hollywood movie film stills from the 1940s to the 1970s. We're going to put them into auction, sell them through Charles Hanson, through one of his specialist 20th century sales. And the lady's called Viv, and her father was quite a big name in the world of movies during this time. So lots of famous...
Right,
hang on, don't want to get lost.
Immediately turn right.
Loads of famous people, actors, actresses from this time. We've got letters and all of that. So this guy was a PR executive in the world of film, the glamorous period. So let's go and see Viv, have a look at the photos. Lord only knows what they're worth, but there's a big market for these things.
Right in 100 yards onto Skeldergate.
Right, that's it. I'm about right.
Turn right.
I'm there. Okay, let's go and see Viv.
Hello.
Hello.
David. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Can I come in?
Please come in.
Brilliant.
Of course.
Shall I
yes.
close the door behind me?
No, I'll do that.
Will
That's
you?
all right.
Okay.
Yes, that's fine. Welcome.
Fabulous.
Make yourself at home.
Well, thank you very much. Viv, I'm loving the colours here.
Are you?
I love it.
Oh, thank you.
You must be an artist as well.
Well, just maybe these days, yes, for sure.
Brilliant. Okay, so tell me about your dad.
Yes, well, please come and I put together some photos, but my father was a film journalist originally after the war, and then when the newspaper he was working for was sold, after 15 years he worked for Peter Sellers as his publicist for a year, and then he became a freelance film publicist himself.
Right.
And worked for 10 years in the film industry.
So what years are we talking about?
We're talking with Dad about 1945 to 1970.
Okay.
These photographs he
Are they here?
accumulated. Yes, they're here. Please.
Go on, you
look,
start
well,
talk me through them. I mean, isn't that the glamour years, Viv?
I don't know
film?
about these things. Yes, actually, because towards the end, these I'll just flick through. I mean,
Go on, tell me who we're looking at here.
Well, that's Alistair Sim. Some of these that's Richard Johnson and.
I know who's that. He's a very recognisable
For
character.
goodness sake, come on, Viv.
Come on, Viv.
Come on, Viv.
I recognise him, but I can't remember his name either.
Come on. Oh, Charlton Heston.
Charlton. Oh, just hold in there, Charlton Heston. What a
Yes.
fine figure of a chap.
Yes.
Now, what film was that?
That was the film Khartoum.
Khartoum.
Which was filmed in the 60s in Egypt.
Now, was your dad on the film sets as well?
Yes, he was on the film set for the whole of the location, if it was on location, and he would have to steer publicists and he would have to steer journalists,
right,
and welcome them and get the right sort of publicity. So Dad had to liaise.
Oh, now what are these?
Oh, these are called contact sheets.
What does that mean?
Well, it means that the stills photographer who worked alongside my father, that every publicist had a stills photographer who took black and white stills in those days on traditional rolls of film, hence so many from one film.
It's like the Instagram of the 1950s,
Well, it is
isn't it?
actually, yes. But and my father would send reels of Agfa cine film home for us, so it goes on. There would always be contact sheets, and then my father would select the photographs that he wanted to use. So that's from Khartoum, I think.
Which is your favourite movie depicted in these pictures?
Oh gosh, I think one nearer the end, which was The Bliss of Mrs. Blossom, which was filmed at Alexandra Palace. I don't know if we have any actually. Oh, these are some of the glamorous ones, Dad. Dad kept.
Wow. And so your dad knew all of these film stars?
Not everyone. He knew some of them. He knew Sophia Loren very well. He met them. This was, I can't remember the names, but I forget where we were. Yes. So The Bliss of Mrs. Blossom was with Shirley MacLaine, and it was all set up. A lot of it was set up at Alexandra Palace, and I think it was to do with, well, I'm not sure.
Now, these are all original photographs from the period.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this was one called The National Health, which was filmed in some very cold, old building. It was largely filmed. They'd set it up as a hospital.
Brilliant.
And
this would be what, in the 50s?
no, this was actually in the 60s.
Oh, 60s. Yeah.
And Dad will have selected the best shots from these contact sheets to use to get publicity for the film.
Right.
And it had to be obviously in line with. So these were some of the enlargements from those contacts.
Oh, brilliant.
And Dad had to obviously get on well with the directors.
Yes.
He worked twice with Richard Lester, Dick Lester, who was very famous and quite tricky and challenging. And with John Lennon was in one of the films before he became famous.
Wow.
With the Beatles.
So how many
Some of
pictures?
these are beautiful. There are about 140 I've got here. But me and my sister did actually give a lot to the British Film Institute, and there's a Ralph Cooper collection there in London, which is held digitally. They've digitised quite a lot of it.
So about 140 in total.
There are about 140 here, yes.
Okay, so I think we're going to put them into Charles Hanson's auction.
Right.
Now, Charles is a great friend of mine, but he also has a fabulous department for movie memorabilia.
Yes.
Don't you, Charles? Yes, you do. And so we'll give them to him, put them into auction. Now, as for value, Viv, do you know what? You know, Charles and I on television are supposed to be able to value almost anything. I can't actually value that folder. It's very difficult to value. I think the thing that we can do is put it into the right auction at the right time with the right buyers, with the right auctioneer. If we do that, it will make its value. Are you happy just to go with it?
Oh, absolutely. These are all surplus to requirements.
Right.
I've kept ones quite a lot here of my father, which are not going into auction, which have him in it with.
Is that your dad there?
Yes, that's one with Dad. That's not a very good one actually, but there's some. He got about a lot. He was very personable. He was very good with his writing. He was very careful man, and I think he was respected. So
Which one is your dad?
This is Dad, and that's with Gene Simmons, obviously.
Oh, wonderful.
So,
so these are all personal ones that you
these
will
are personal
keep.
ones
That's
I'm
fine.
keeping.
That's
Yes,
fine, of course. Yeah.
for sure. Yes.
Wonderful, Viv. It's absolutely fascinating and great to meet you.
Well, and you, and whatever happens with these, that'll be interesting to find out who is interested in them, because these are very time bound. They're from the 30s to the 70s, early 70s. And a lot of younger people these days wouldn't know or be interested, frankly.
But that's a great thing you see with the internet, with this YouTube and Charles Hanson's connections. That they may well go to America. Someone sat in home in Texas. That's the great thing with modern technology.
Yes, absolutely.
So, wonderful. Viv, I love your colours. You're an artist as well. I love your art.
Thank you.
Absolutely wonderful. It's been a delight to meet you.
And you. Thank you very much. Bye, David.
I really do get to meet some fascinating people in this world of antiques, and Viv is absolutely one of them. And the Ralph Cooper collection here is now at home, so I'm going to spend a bit of time going through it anyway, just for my own pleasure and delight. And then they're off down to Derbyshire to Charles Hanson's to be sold in auction. How much are they going to make? I really don't know. They're impossible to value, but I'm putting them into the right sale. And in the video description, I've put a list of all the movies, all the film stars featured So have a look through, might take a while, but they really are interesting. And talking of interesting things, if you have anything fascinating or valuable or an unusual collection, that something I can make a film about here on YouTube, then get in touch and I'll even come and see you, whether you want me to come and see you or not. And it really doesn't matter where you are actually in the world. I quite fancy a bit of a trip overseas. So if it's doable, I'll do it. If not, we can always do it virtually. So we can make it happen. So do get in touch if you have anything that I can feature here on the channel or sell for you and make a really powerful, intriguing, interesting video. You know the kind of thing. I'll do a bit of a catch-up video after the collection has been sold to let you know how much they did indeed sell for. I'm going to dash off now, spend an hour or so looking through here. But I just want to thank you very much as ever for watching. Catch up with me sometime. Get in touch if you have any questions at all, antiques, art related. Genuinely, my advice for what it's worth is free. So if you don't get in touch, I'll see you here on YouTube very soon. I'm David Harper. Don't forget to subscribe. Cheerio.